Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, Ril Dil Quinn, episode 803. This is possibly the last podcast of 2021. I'm not gonna say more than likely because I'm more than likely gonna do an Insecure series finale with hopefully with Tiffany Quinn.
Oh, I saw.
Because,
I saw. I watched everything.
yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
caught up.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was what it was, but so this possibly could be the last. This will be the second to last podcast of the year. Certainly, we'll be looking forward to that podcast. As certainly there's been a lot said on the internet about that last episode. I don't know what y'all really expected, but anyway, um, we're here to talk about Week 16 of the NFL season. There are just 2 weeks left before we get into Super Wild Card weekend, which will go into Monday, because there are seven playoff positions this year as compares to per conference as compares to six. So still a lot to be decided. Though this week, really a couple things got cleared up this week. Um, but there's still certain spots to be decided. We'll just jump right into it. And I don't know why I didn't introduce this. I'm not by myself, of course. I'm with Robert Sapp. Mr. Sapp, how you doing this afternoon?
Oh, doing very well. Doing very well.
And we're gonna jump right into it because Mr. Sapp, one of the reasons why I'm sure Mr. Sapp is doing very well is his team won the week, the Buffalo Bills, with a big time road victory over the New England Patriots. 33-21. This was the Josh Allen show, to say the least. They basically like, hey, put the ball in Josh Allen's hands. You do what you gotta do. We've discussed this a couple of weeks ago. This is their only course of action, considering their roster construction right now with the lack of a running game and them not just being good at run blocking as in comparison when the ball is in the hands of Josh Allen. So, this is what he's capable of doing. Um, they really controlled this game from the start. I know the Patriots made a couple of threats um, in the middle and towards the latter part of the game, but really this was a Buffalo Bill game from the start. Um, you had to be just I can't beat New England for a second straight year at New England, putting them into a little tailspin as they've dropped two games in a row. I just know that was like a second Christmas gift come Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's that was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet. Um, I got a chance to watch the game with my brother, and have his running commentary in my ear. So that was awesome. Um, but like you said, I think the thing. So, a little bit about me and how I watch my team play is I'm not satisfied with anything that I ever see during the game. So I'm just a bag of nerves during the game, and I'm hating everything. So I actually get my full enjoyment of a victory like that after the fact when I go back and I watch the game again. And boy, have I watched that game over and over and over and over again. I've seen that game at least 6 times by now, so I loved it. That's one. And then I listen. I listen to everything anyway, but I really listen to everything after winning, hear everything and watch every analysis of it, because I don't have the same stress that I have as I have when I'm watching the game. So with that being said, I've heard everything, I've read everything, I've watched the game 6 times. I could not be more prepared to talk about any game probably ever than this game. By Bill Belichick's own admission, both during the game and afterwards, that they had no answers for us. Now, Belichick, of course, flips it and phrases it as, we gave him option, meaning Josh Allen, option A, B, C, and D, and he met the challenge every single time. the fact that there were no more options available that he threw out there shows you that there was nothing that they could do to stop him. And of course, the atypical way, no matter how the league is trending in terms of aggressiveness, on fourth down, Belichick was not trending that way. The times when Belichick, the Patriots, are frustrated by another team defensively and wave the white flag in terms of being able to out scheme that other team is when Belichick starts going forward on fourth down in his own territory. When that happens, then you know that you got him. And that happened a couple times during the game, that even during the game I was able to recognize. I couldn't hold on to it and be satisfied with it, but I was able to recognize it during the game. After the fact, everybody was talking about it, and it was easily recognizable. Once the idea that Allen wasn't going to be patient, and this is what every top level quarterback has to go through. They have to go through it. Some get there quicker than others. Some have lots of times to mature and watch, i.e. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had 3 years on the bench before he actually played, so he could see, anyways. So, but every quarterback has to go through that process of where I know it's I think about like Derrick Rose. I'll draw a direct analogy to basketball, and the direct analogy I'll draw to is like when Rose and Westbrook were both young and healthy. There was always a push and pull with them as point guards. I could make my teammates better, but I can score every single time myself. I know I can do that. What those types of guards have to go through, scoring guards have to go through, is that it makes the team better to make your teammates better, not just you scoring all the time. Quarterback, same way. It makes your team better when you take the available option and don't force it downfield, even though you can throw the ball 70 yards downfield and have a higher percentage than most of completing that throw. Still better to take with the defense, because there will come games where that will not be available to you for whatever reason, and you're still responsible for making that offense score 30 plus points. This was a game where all that came together for Josh Allen, definitely this season. I would argue this is where it came together, because what we know about Bill Belichick coach teams, what we know about his defenses is once they lock in on strategy on you, they're going to make you prove that you have mastered that strategy. Not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, but for the entire game. And they might hit you with it over and over if you're a division opponent, they see you often enough. But they're going to make you prove it. And so a lot of criticism is, why did they switch up when they saw he wasn't? The answer is because they did not believe he could keep that up the entire game. You gotta understand the Patriots live off of your mistakes, and right. They only need you to make 1.
Yeah.
They don't need you to make 17. They only need you to make 1. So if the team believes that this strategy will work over a period of time, kind of like a casino, yeah, you can win a couple. You get a couple dollars out of there, but the longer you stay, the more money you will eventually lose. That's Belichick's defensive philosophy. Yeah, you might get plays off. You might score touchdowns. But over the period of this game, I'm going to get you more times than you get me. And therefore, I win. And so it was great to see that maturity. It was great to see Belichick run out of answers. And it was great to get a very, very meaningful win in December against a division opponent at their home. These are growth moments in teams. These are the games where you're like, you can point to it and go, yup, we did that and we had to do that. I've been saying it pretty regularly since we've been on. Like my anxiety, my nervousness is about watching my team play and be victorious, right? Like normal type of thing. My anxiety is no longer rooted in, I don't know if we can do this. So when I've been saying this entire season, these are prove it now. Okay. We're supposed to be a good team. We're supposed to be this type of team. Then these are the types of games you have to win. Period. In the story. Not once, but consistently. But you got to start. You got to start somewhere. And so ideally this is the start. But this is, as a fan, these are the type of games I need to see to buy into my team.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. It just looked to me as if the mental toughness has, like, and I don't think it ever left, but these battles that they face, like that game that they had a couple of weeks ago against the Patriots, the Monday night game, excuse me, the Sunday night game against Kansas City, that those games have kind of like created this mental toughness with your team that could carry them, far. And that will, I don't know how far they'll go, but they will be a tough out in the playoffs no matter who they play, because they have a stud at quarterback and and just talented players all around their roster. Um, so I was impressed from a mental standpoint. I think this game was more important than just staying in the playoff hunt. And that I thought that this game was for long term ramifications going into next season was important for you guys to come out there and respond to what happened at in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. Like I feel like you just had to respond to that. That had to be answered. Like they're the bully. You had to answer and punch the bully back in the mouth. And this game they just completely physically just manhandled the Patriots, which you know you just something that you don't see often. Like you have to like if the Patriots lose, they're gonna lose because they're gonna lose. You have to beat the Patriots. And in this game, you have 4 or 5 penalties, which then they have big penalties, but no turnovers, and you almost had the ball for 40 minutes. So that showed a level of discipline and physicality that you need to not only compete but to beat this team. And again I was thoroughly impressed with you guys. And listen, the Patriots the last couple of weeks we've seen teams be able to handle the Patriots because you can because of simply because of this. You have to match up with them at the point of attack. Offensive line, defensive line. I don't care about your skill position players. Don't care about all the other fancy shit. If you don't match physicality with the Patriots, then you're just not going to beat them. Indianapolis, and again, and we both like the Patriots going into that game, but the bottom line is Indianapolis physically can play with anybody. Their offensive and defensive lines are as good as there is in the league, in the NFL. Um, and I just thought, again, I thought that you guys just not only matched the physicality, but just overpowered them because and like I said at the top of the show, we know you have more talent. As of right now, you have more talent than the Patriots. You are a better all around football team. You asked me which roster I would take. I would take your roster over the Patriot roster. But Belichick in that first game was just that good. Um, so again, this is like to your point. It is a building block game as you try to develop into a championship team. Going to a Super Bowl. As you can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Um, Joe Burrow goes off once again against Baltimore. I love so many things about this game. I watched this game. I watched a lot of this game. Um, First of all, the lead up to the game. So the defensive coordinator, Don Martindale, said something to the paraphrasing, basically stole a old Bill Parcells phrase of, let's not, he's not, let's not put him in Canton already, or let's not give him a gold jacket as of yet. Right now, as of yet, Burrow heard this. Um, and didn't respond to it until after. I think he responded after the game, but he damn sure responded during the game as he just lit that defense up. And for the season, he's 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, basically a million yards against Baltimore. Obviously, I mean, just this game, Cincinnati showed you why we loved them for a lot of the season with some of the talent, with just how many weapons they have, led by their franchise quarterback. What were your thoughts on this dominant performance once again by Cincinnati by putting 41 on Baltimore for the second time this season?
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of things. The first thing, and I said this, I remember saying this out loud to my brother. I was like, "Yo, since he stayed stomping Baltimore," so that was my first. That's my first thought, and then my second comment out loud to him is that Joe Burrow is a problem. And then so like my third comment or my third thought on this is tempered because of COVID and how many different people are out, and like so it gets tricky to analyze some of these games like I normally would. But I think those first two comments still hold no matter what. Cincy matches up perfectly with Baltimore for whatever reason. I do not have both of those teams memorized like I do the AFC East or the AFC North memorized like that. So I don't know exactly why they match up well, but they do. It just is obvious. They match up perfectly against them. And that Joe Burrow is a problem. He's a problem.
Yeah, Cincinnati had almost 300-yard receivers in this game. If they had Boyd had a touchdown called back, that would have put them over 100 yards. But everybody ate in this game for Cincinnati. Listen, Baltimore, they're not going to be able to overcome that secondary, especially with some of the quarterbacks in the AFC. This is all. I mean, that secondary is, and we know they've been devastated with injuries. They're missing like their top 3 cornerbacks. Peter.
Yeah, that's why there's just no way to be able to appropriately analyze with that cat. You can't just be like next man up on stuff like that.
No,
like what happened with New Orleans. You just can't like that team lost. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
There's almost nothing else to say. They were missing their corners. You can't assess when they're not there.
Yeah, those guys, and those guys are done for the season. So Baltimore is they're very limited in terms of what they can do defensively. And by the way, they had prior to this game, they had been playing pretty good defense, all things considered. Had lost a number of close games. Of course, they had a 3-game stretch where they lost, I think, 3 games in a row or 3 games in a row by like 4 points. So Baltimore has been close all season long, and their record easily could be better, but they are limited. Again, this is not we said this over the course of the season. Even we know obviously Lamar Jackson, what that means to him, but even defensively, this is not the Raven team that we've grown up, that we've watched over the past decade defensively. Like that defense is not where it's at, where it's been in the past, and that regardless of what happens, even if Lamar Jackson comes back and they make the playoff, and that team makes the playoffs, that I don't expect a lot out of Baltimore because there are too many top tier quarterbacks in the AFC going up against that secondary. It just is. So, but give Cincinnati a lot of credit. Um, handle the business against a divisional rival at home. They are in firm control of that division. It's their division to lose. Now, with the wackiness that's going on with COVID, who knows? I'm not going to make any predictions.
Nope.
Predictions. Who knows? But if they, they should be in good. As long as Joe Burrow is playing, they should be in good hands. I'll put it to you that way. And by the way, I like everything leading up into this game because Joe Burrow was left off the Pro Bowl roster, which I didn't go crazy over. He's still a young player, Lamar Jackson made it. Lamar Jackson, when he's on the field, has been.
I don't think anybody, because Allen got left off as well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, it
I
wasn't
have
that.
to
No.
jump in here. No
It
one
was
has a problem, or there isn't big problems with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Those
no,
two aren't the problem. It's Herbert.
no.
Herbert's the problem.
Herbert was the one.
Herbert's the problem.
Yeah.
Because that's those of us, like, we're not saying Herbert, but why is he there before Josh Allen? Why is he there before Joe Burrow? That's what we're having a problem with.
Yeah, and
Herbert's the problem.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even have a major problem with Herbert being on there. To be honest, when I saw his name on there, I didn't go too crazy over that.
Yeah, because you don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Future Hall of Fame on your roster. That's why you don't have a problem with it. I had a problem with it.
Yes.
Damn that. We're not going to sit here and be like Herbert should be in that Pro Bowl.
No, he should. No, he should.
Nah.
No, he should not be.
I'm not even saying he should not, but that is debatable. Damn that. This is a conversation.
It definitely is a conversation. But I'm saying, my overall point is, I like how Joe Burrow responded to
he's a problem.
The trash talk and not being on the Pro Bowl. That's to me, that's next level stuff as far as his mentality. Like, okay, all right, cool. You're gonna talk this shit, and the defense coordinator talk shit. Cool. I'm off the Pro Bowl. I'm not a Pro Bowler. All right. And,
here's my argument. I don't know who is voting for this and why they're voting for it, how Herbert got in. Honestly, I don't even care about his statistics. This is what I know. It's kind of like how when Durant was like, he doesn't understand, to make another basketball analogy, Durant did not understand how some of these players are getting defensive players of the year when it was so easy for him to score on them.
Right.
I don't get how he's a Pro Bowler over Josh Allen when Belichick has no problem handling him. No problem at all.
No.
He's not a challenge. Yeah. And he's the greatest defensive mind of many generations and the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
And so you leave the quarterback. I'm just kicking up for my man Josh Allen right now, not even Burrow. And I believe Burrow is great. He's probably, when I think about these three, I probably look at Burrow first. So I believe he is great. I do. So I'm just kicking up for my man Josh Allen. But from that perspective, going up against one of the greatest coaches of all time, and this coach has fits handling this quarterback. I don't get it. I don't get it. I would have wanted him to play in the Pro Bowl anyway, for him not to get the nomination. Nah, I'm not with that.
Yeah, no, it's a legitimate right.
That is my argument against Herbert. No shade, Herbert's fantastic. He is.
So we get to Christmas Day action. It was a busy Christmas in the sports world.
It was a lot. Football spread over a lot of days.
Thank goodness for DVR, because there's no way I couldn't even watch everything.
Yeah.
I had to spread it out too. I had to spread out some of these games that I watched. Green Bay, Cleveland. I did get to see a lot of this on Christmas Day and finished watching it late on that night. A game that, frankly, Cleveland should have won. They physically outplayed Green Bay, I thought, or right there with Green Bay physically.
Yeah.
And your quarterback turns the ball over 4 times. Then,
there you go.
You won't win many games there. And
that's the difference.
It just shows you. I mean, it just shows you how talented Cleveland is. That you could turn over the ball. You could lose the turnover differential because Green Bay had no turnovers. You could lose. You could be -4 in Lambeau Field and only lose by 2 points. So that just lets you know how talented Cleveland is physically on both sides of the ball.
Oh yeah.
They had no answer for talent for Green Bay's. For Cleveland's running game. Cleveland did, I think, a pretty good job at containing Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I know he had 3 touchdowns and no picks, which basically is the norm for him, but he didn't go crazy. I mean, I thought the second half they contained him. He only scored 3 points in the second half, and then they were hitting him a lot. He got hit a lot. So
the entire team played well enough to win.
Yes.
There were 2 people that let that team down.
Yeah,
the quarterback and the head coach.
Yeah.
Head coach, quarterback.
Yeah.
Flip it however you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is to me the game that I probably thought this anyway. I'm sure you will echo this sentiment. This is a game that basically put whoever future Baker Mayfield has in Cleveland. This is a game that sealed the deal. Like Baker Mayfield will not be a Cleveland Brown next year. It's just not good. And I'm not here to pound on Baker Mayfield. I've defended Baker Mayfield throughout the course of the season, and I didn't think by the way, I didn't think he was going to be on the team anyway prior to this game. This on a national television, you're still in the fringes of the playoff chase, and to be the reason, along with the head coach, or why they lost their game when it was certainly winnable. I don't think I cannot see a scenario where he is on that team in 2022. What are your thoughts?
Um, yeah, I mean, like, not so much about Baker Mayfield being on the team. Regardless, I mean, Cleveland is Cleveland. They get what they deserve. It's just that simple. Um, but in terms of that game, if we're gonna do blame pie, I'm gonna give 75 to 90 to 85% of the blame on the coach, and then the rest can go to Baker Mayfield. Because your quarterback has already thrown 3 interceptions in the game. You get the ball back at the, what was it, the 50? Near midfield. Let's just say that.
They had good field position. It was great.
Near midfield. You are annihilating this team through the running game. This wasn't like a we're doing well getting third down and shorts. You were blowing past third down with the running game. Like, wasn't even there. And so
yeah, Cleveland had
it didn't make sense to me that they put that ball up in the air. And I know there's a thing of like you want your quarterback to show you, but the quarterback showed you. Like I said halfway through the game, and anybody who's watching, this is not even a hot take. This is not analysis. This is not anything. You could see Baker Mayfield wasn't seeing the field. He's not in terms of like what you're talking about. He's not the guy that can go through a week without practice, COVID, all these different distractions, come in, ride in a helicopter, walk right into the game and save the day. There are very few quarterbacks that can do that in the history of this game. And so he's definitely not one of those guys. He needs all the practice. He needs he needs everything to function well around him in order for things to go right. And that's the switcher mentality. So if he is going to stay there, that's the switcher mentality they got to have. The team has to play well, and Baker's a part of that team, period. But in terms of that running game, it is criminal. It's criminal that they did not ice that game down and win with a field goal. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's criminal. I legit can't understand. I know Baker threw that last interception. I do. I know that, and I know all the controversy and everything that went in with all that. None of that should have been on the table at all, because you could have salted that game away with the running game and with a field goal. That is what a well-run organization does. The Browns are not that.
Yeah, no, they are, just, talented, but, enigmatic, to say the least. They they're just like the Chargers. They are those two teams are in essence mirror images of each other. Talented teams that can beat anybody on a given day, but they can also lose anybody, as we saw.
I'm going to give the Chargers more of a break because they're still learning how to win. We thought Cleveland knew how to win after the playoffs last year.
Yeah. I mean, I give Cleveland more. Yeah, you got. I mean,
so the Chargers are still proving it phase of it.
Right.
Cleveland was supposed to have proven it, exercise those demons, the Pittsburgh, all that stuff.
That's true.
Which they did not.
That's true. But still similar as far as the talent and just the unpredictability from week to week, in regards to what team's going to show up.
I count on the Chargers being unpredictable. The difference for me is I expect the Chargers to be unpredictable.
Okay.
I'm frustrated that
But
Cleveland is
Cleveland, so
not more predictable.
right. Yeah. No, Cleveland should. I mean, by measures of last year, Cleveland definitely should be further ahead in terms of that process. I 1,000% agree with you from that standpoint. Later on in the evening, of course, we had Arizona, who is has fallen by the wayside, dropping a home game to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is rolling right now, but of course, we got the news about Carson Wentz, who could be out this week, but we're not sure, depending on if these rules, as far as when a player can come back, or are put in before, or put in if the NFL takes on these rules where you can return after 5 days, then he's eligible. He would be eligible to play Sunday, but that still has not yet been all the way determined. But as far as the game goes, um, Arizona right now just. I guess I didn't realize. I guess we should realize just how valuable DeAndre Hopkins is to that team. But to me, the bigger issue is what do you think is going? What do you think has happened to Kyler Murray? Because at one point he was the leading candidate for MVP, and he's been just bad the last part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the first part that you said, and I said the exact same thing as well. I did not realize how much Hopkins meant to this offense. I didn't know he was this important, and he is that important. And it does make sense because the thing that I've lauded Arizona about is how they've gone about constructing the team and building it around their quarterback. And one of the biggest pieces of that build was having dominant expert wide receivers. And the most dominant and the most expert is Bernard Hopkins. He makes that entire offense go, which is it's very clear now. And I'll leave other more expert people to talk about the different reasons why. But for my money, from what I've seen from them over the past few weeks, is that the difference with having Hopkins for Kyler Murray and not having Hopkins for Kyler Murray is the amount of attention and separation that he draws away from everybody. And so that just glistening completion percentages combined with the style of offense that they play was what was elevating Kyler Murray into just unbelievable heights, especially in my eye. I'll definitely say for me. And now having that offense just completely disappear because that attention isn't needed there, and they can focus more in on the others. And even with AJ Green there, AJ Green is a nice complementary piece at this point in time in his career. He's not the number one wide receiver at this point in time in his career. So without that separation, without that drawing that coverage, all the different yada yada, Kyler Murray has to be a more efficient quarterback. And so now this is the part of the process where Patrick Mahomes was early in the season, Josh Allen was up until second half Tampa, this game, New England, where it's like, all right, what everybody's going to now test you on is your efficiency. Yep, you can beat us on the blitz. You can roll out. You can every single time. It's damn near impossible to stop that. What can you do from inside the pocket when you don't have premium play design separation or broken play separation, when it is just dependent upon everybody being on the exact same page and running this play to optimal design, going through your reads, going through your progressions, making the right decision, yada, 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 all that stuff. So this is the prove it point for Kyler Murray. And this is why even as good as they were, both me and you were hesitant to crown because we needed to see it in the playoffs. So, yeah, they've hit a bit of a struggle point. What are you going to do about it? Arizona, if you're as good as you think you are, as good as your record states, you figure out a way to overcome it. Kansas City did it early in their season. You figure out a way to overcome it. You do worry because it's coming late in the season, and that is not ideal.
No, you don't want to. You want to hit these.
No,
You're gonna
you
struggle.
want to have those struggles early.
October, early November. Yeah. You don't. Or September.
Yeah.
You don't want to have these struggles coming.
Yeah, what you said it. I can't remember which coach. But you said it. You want to be playing your best football after Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's in essence when the season really starts, especially a season that's 18 weeks, 17 games, 18 weeks now in 2021. As far as Indianapolis goes, again, we know how talented Indianapolis is on both sides of the ball. They have a clear-cut identity. They know who they are. Unlike Cleveland, Indianapolis would have ran that ball and kicked away that field goal because they realize that Jonathan Taylor is their best offensive player. It has probably been their best player this year. And Carson Wentz just did just enough and didn't make the glaring mistake in that game. That game was a very that game could have went either way. That game was a very close game from a standpoint of it was not much separation as far in terms of yardage, in terms of that game was right there on the plate that game was right there possibly for Arizona. Arizona just could not muster up anything from an offensive standpoint. I thought Arizona defensively played well enough to win. They just offensively they just were seemingly behind the 8 ball all game long. But you gotta give Indianapolis a lot of credit. For how they played down the stretch. They won some big games. That New England performance was a big time performance against New England.
Yeah, it was.
We did not expect that, but that they, for them to run the ball in New England the way they ran the ball, especially at the end of the game, to in essence put that game away, was that was just big time football out of a team that physically can match up with anybody at the point of attack. Now, I'm not at the place where I trust Indianapolis to make a deep run in the playoffs. Like I think they will be a tough out. Though they'll be you have to play you have to play well to beat Indianapolis because they are built for postseason football with their defense and with the running game. Their defensive run game will keep them in the game. That alone will keep them in the game. But again, you can't. I can't go there when I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen versus Carson Wentz. It's like, nah, no. I'm not quite going there to where they could be this surprise team that can get to a Super Bowl. Like, no, I'm not quite there. But I could definitely but depending on the matchup, I definitely could see them winning a game if they got to the playoffs.
When you're protecting your quarterback,
yes, that's not a good.
There as Belichick found, there's a fatal flaw in that.
Yes, no.
And the fatal flaw in that design is you have to have the lead the entire game. It has to be tied, or you have to have the lead the entire game. If you do not, that falls apart.
Yeah,
it falls apart. And so that's why, like if the Colts were 15-1 winning this way and had the number 1 seed, and everything had to come through them, and they had one less game to play than everybody else, then I could have a conversation about them. That's too hard of a style to depend on to win.
You can't depend on that style. No, you can't.
Not now. Not in this era.
No. I don't think, to be honest with you, we've seen
you can't hide your. I mean, like it is.
It's you gotta have, unless you have an all-time.
We know what you gotta have. You gotta have an all-time great defense.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking
to mask the sins of your quarterback.
You're talking about 2000 Ravens. You're talking about 2015 Denver Broncos. Like that. That is not. It's not ideal. And I mean, maybe a lesser team like
it's just not dependable. You just can't. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But there's no way you can call that.
Listen, Pittsburgh learned that lesson a lot.
Yeah.
During the before they got Ben Roethlisberger. Neil O'Donnell, yeah, they learned that lesson the hard way a lot. Many
Cordell Stewart.
what else
Cordell
to
Stewart years.
yes, yes.
Yep.
Flash.
Yep. What was it, Maddox?
Yeah, Tommy. But when they got Tommy
Did he
Maddox,
do it? Did he do a?
yeah, Maddox was there
Did
for
he do a
1 year.
whole year?
Yeah, he did
I
1 year.
can't remember.
I think Mags. Yeah, I think Mags did. I think Mags did 1 year. Yeah, I want to say he did one
He had a full
like
season.
I think he did 1 year, and then I'll never forget this as long as I live. When Hines Ward basically said, "Yo, this dude ain't it," and he broke down the press conference. You remember that?
Yeah, I
Tommy
do.
Maddox started crying in the press conference.
I do.
all
Yep.
Hines Ward was saying was what was obvious. Like this dude is not the guy.
No, he's not the dude.
He's not the
He
dude.
isn't. Come on now.
That's all he said. That's all he said. And then Tommy, yeah, poor Tommy. Tommy just couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Couldn't handle that the criticism, which is probably not. You probably if you can't handle that, then you're probably not a franchise.
Now I forget poor Tommy, my man from New Orleans.
Oh, we'll get to
Good.
him. Yo,
Woo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Poor him. Poor
let's get
him.
let's
Poor
get
him.
yeah. We're gonna get to him. Biggest disappointments. I had the Chargers. You can't be competing for a playoff spot and get smoked by uh, a quarterback that nobody basically knows and a team that has nothing.
Wait, don't they have a Pro Bowl quarterback on their
Oh,
roster?
oh
I'm just saying.
goodness.
He won that game. He won the Pro Bowl. It's great.
41-29, 41-29. They lose to Houston Texans, which would be the Texans. Well, the Texans actually have played decently last couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. They've actually been
Yep. Nope,
fighting.
they're not a dumpster fire.
They've been fighting. They've been fighting. I give them credit for
Yep.
battling. But yeah, if you're the Chargers, you can't lose this game in December.
No, you can't.
That was a rough one for a Chargers fan. And I don't know if you saw this. There was a reporter. This was so hilarious. This was hilarious from start to finish. There's a lady reporter who all she wanted to know, she didn't care nothing about the game. All she wanted to know was, what is your New Year's resolution? And she asked Bill Belichick that. Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick was in shock to a point where he couldn't even be rude. And he was like, I, you just have to ask me next week. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know
Next
right
time
now.
you're here, which will be never ever again, you can ask me that question.
But yo, she didn't stop with Belichick. She asked a receiver from New England, Myers, yeah, Jacoby Myers, the
Yeah.
same
I don't
question.
know what organization thought that was going to be a good idea, but it was not. Wrong team to play with. They're not going to play. They're not going to play with you, especially after a loss. Come on.
Oh no. I mean, he would
They would have done it anyway.
after a win,
but
but especially after a
man, I mean,
loss.
a loss? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. So I don't know. I know that wasn't just some random person just wandering around. So it was definitely sanctioned by somebody. Whoever sanctioned that needs to go back to the drawing board on that one.
Yeah, like somebody should.
That ain't the move.
Nah. Cause see,
Belichick's not going to give you quirky, fun answers.
no,
Sorry.
no.
All you have to do is just Google Belichick.
You see, that's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think the people, I don't think she was prepped. She clearly wasn't prepped for this.
Well, it's like, remember when the Super Bowl became like a show?
Yes, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the thing.
We see this. We see this in NBA Finals. Some random.
You would have people
Yeah.
just doing all types of weird stuff.
Yeah.
And that became the charm of the Super Bowl. That's not the charm of the AFC. Of Foxborough division, right? That ain't part of the charm.
No, I mean, we see this in NBA Finals with some random, not even reporter, but it'd be some random dude that just gets into the room and asks just a question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we keep using the word random. It's not like somebody's coming in off the street. You gotta have credentials.
Yeah, you have credentials.
It's like some rando organization.
Somebody that we don't know.
Or
somebody
publication.
That we don't. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Whatever. not a part of the regular press crew, not a part of anything associated with sports or whatever the topic is. It'll be like a sports reporter going into a baking show and asking them about, a slant. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, nobody is trying to hear that. There's not anything that is going on here. Yeah. I definitely saw it, and yeah, that ain't. I don't know what I just don't know what they thought they were going to get.
I guess also for biggest. Did you have any candidates for biggest disappointments? I have probably I have two more that could be on this list.
No, nothing that immediately pops in my head.
So.
My team won the week, so I'm not thinking about disappointments, to be honest with
you. Nor should you be.
Oh, I do have a biggest disappointment: the Washington football team.
Yes.
But I thought you would hit that one.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I didn't put them on this list, and they had every reason, they had every right to be on this list. I wouldn't have a problem if somebody did, and you lose 56-14. That's
Nah. It was the 35 and nothing at halftime, or 38 or whatever it was.
Whatever,
it was just like,
when you have
this is old school Super Bowls beat down.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this in a while.
This is Denver, San Francisco, Denver, somebody.
Yep. Buffalo, Dallas. I'll call it out. Where it's just like, yo, you didn't even give me a chance to hope.
But then on top of it, you have your two starting defensive linemen on the
that was fantastic.
Bench. And it was just like, this is what
they beat y'all so bad y'all beating each other up. Yeah, that's fantastic. That was fantastic.
So yeah, I guess
that is not a happy football team right now.
I've been used to so much dysfunction that it wasn't like, and I didn't expect to win the game. That I've been used to so much dysfunction over the last 30 plus years that it wasn't a surprise. It was hilarious, the press, reading all the stuff about it, and looking at watching the post game, that the little post game show they do locally, and you got media people just like, this is an embarrassment, and like you haven't lived through this for like 30 years, like this has been basically commonplace for the better part of since Joe Gibbs retired.
But you gotta realize everybody doesn't live 30 years of DC history.
No.
Washington football team history.
No.
All they saw was two players punching each other on the sidelines. Ain't nobody thinking about DC the Washington football team history. With that, y'all look like y'all came apart, and it is surprising to me. And the reason why it's a disappointment, since we're here now, is because I expect more from Ron Rivera coach teams.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah,
I expect more. Yes. So I do happen to know more history than most on this football team because I live in a region. But I didn't expect that. I didn't. You know how I felt about Dallas, and you've been ridiculous on Dallas all year long. But so Dallas proved exactly who I knew they were. They are 1,000%, if not the best team in the league, at least the fourth best team. Like the only ones I could put above them are NFC is Green Bay and Tampa Bay, and then I might slide Kansas City in there right before them. Might. And honestly, Tampa like I could see, I'm not gonna put them over Green Bay, but I could absolutely see an argument for them being number 2. I can absolutely see that argument and have no problem with that argument, but at the maximum lowest, they're dropping is 4. Maximum. So I'm saying that to say that's how I've always felt about Dallas this entire year. I've been very consistent on that on this program.
High on Dallas.
So I say that even with that, I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. And then to watch the mental collapse happen at the exact same time, I was like, this felt like old school. Well, at the time, they
This had
definitely were the
well, this
Redskins.
felt it felt Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know, it
And I
felt
didn't expect that.
some of the other coaches that the
Yeah,
million coaches that they've had going through the past, decade and a half or so. You
yeah,
know, Mike
yeah,
Shanahan. So yeah,
yeah.
some of the disasters that they've had with the program. But I mean, listen, the bottom line
I mean,
is,
every player says it, and it's could not be more. Every player, coach, everybody in anything says it, and we all inherently know it. That there are just going to be games where you just get the shit kicked out of you. You just get blown out, and it's just a wrap. Those that like with all this stuff, New Orleans, 22 player COVID list, fourth string quarterback, seventh string offense, whatever, offensive tag, everything like that. These are what you get paid for. Are we gonna win this game? Nope. But I have to still coach it and do everything, and we have to practice as if we are. Same thing in that game. Are you getting your doors blown off? Do you have any hope of anything? Nope, you absolutely do not. What you can't do is embarrass yourself and embarrass the team. That still can't happen, even when you're getting your ass whooped. And that's why I was so disappointed in what I saw. Guys still gotta be professional.
yeah,
Still
you still gotta be a professional. I mean, and that is
no, that's the tough
that
moments are actually what we're getting as professionals, what we're getting paid for,
yes.
what they're getting paid for.
Yep.
For the moments exactly like that. Yep, you guys sit here and take this whole entire ass whooping, this whole entire game. Yes, you do.
Yeah, and a lot of criticism came, as rightfully so. Ron Rivera, you know, you it's your team.
Yep,
This is
it
your
is.
team,
It
and
is.
not only on the field, but as far as you're the general manager, in essence.
Yep.
That I mean, that's gonna be the big question all season. Like you know, like that should be the change in off season. Like you can't do both gigs. Like we gonna have to like change this up and go from there. You
Your
mentioned New Orleans.
franchise does not like y'all love giving y'all coaches all the everything.
Yeah,
I love doing that.
yeah,
And it's just not working for you. So I
and
don't understand why you
yeah.
keep
Well,
doing
the
it.
one
So
time,
confusing.
we had a good general manager. We got
Yeah. Uh-huh.
helped build San Francisco, and got rid
Yeah.
of him. But
Yeah.
we don't like general
Yeah.
managers. So
Yeah.
we don't do
Yeah.
general managers of
Nah,
personnel people.
not a strength of yours.
No, nope, not at all. Talked about New Orleans.
My
It's been
man Hood. What was his first name?
who?
Whoever the
Ian
quarterback
Book.
was.
Ian Book.
Book? Was it Book? What was
Ian
his
Book.
name? See, now I
Ian
can't
Book.
remember his
Yeah,
name.
Ian Book.
Ian Book. Ian Book. My man Book. I was called by the wrong name.
It's been a while since I've seen a quarterback take a beating for 60
Yeah.
minutes. Like the fact that he was able to just to make it through the game, I don't
Yeah.
ever question his toughness. Whatever you say
I
about
mean, sure.
don't ever,
He could take a hit like nobody else. That's great. Great. Good.
but
That's a
I
good quality to have in your quarterback, I guess. You can take a punch. Boy
uh,
can't take a punch. How'd that work out for Geno Smith?
no,
Anyways,
it doesn't work. Nah, doesn't work out.
I'm throwing so much joke. I really did feel bad I
I
felt
felt no,
bad for
I
him.
literally felt bad. No, I felt
Before
bad.
the game started, when they were talking about his family, I was like, come on now. Don't do this to this man. That's a professional NFL defense on the other side
A
of
very
that
good
football,
one.
and you're the fourth string quarterback. You're going to get killed this game. There's no way.
No, they had no chance in that game.
Don't bring that poor man's family to watch him executed live on national TV.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt that had me feeling bad off from the sides. Like, oh, this is going to be bad for him. This is going to be bad for him.
Basically, I don't think there's anything Sean Payton could have done.
Nah.
I just don't think.
Like I said, this is where you just earn your paycheck. This is where you just look at your bank account and say, I'm glad I have money in it. Because that's a rough day at the office. and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. No,
Come
that.
on, man. There cannot be any expectation of winning when you're on your fourth string quarterback. That's without any other problems.
Yeah,
And they had a ton more problems.
Four offensive linemen
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Again, they still
Yeah.
have no receivers in essence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest question. I wonder how much sleep he got the night before. You think he got any?
Book or Peyton?
Book.
Um,
I actually think Peyton's. I mean, we've all had those times. When it's going to be one of those days at work, or it's developed into one of those days, and you just
mentally
let it.
prepare
You
yourself,
just let it be
especially
with
you're a
God.
veteran.
You know
You're
what?
a veteran. Yep, you mentally prepare yourself. Yeah.
I think Peyton slept fine. I think he was like,
I
I
think
did
Peyton was probably
everything
like,
I
we're
could.
gonna take this L. Yeah, Peyton probably like, here's mine. We're gonna take this L. We'll fight. We'll coach him up as much as I could. We're gonna take this L.
We did everything. We proceeded through the week. We got hit all of our points. We got a game plan. We got all the things. All the players who are available are going to be at the game on time. Like all the things, like all the stuff that I'm supposed to do as the coach, I did. Do we have the players to win this game? Absolutely not.
No. So the flip side, because we gotta give Miami credit.
I guess.
I mean, from a
sure.
I'm talking about in the big picture standpoint, not just that game. They started out the season 1-7.
I watched that entire game. I have my brother right there. He's in my ear.
Of course,
I watched the entire game.
Of course,
very closely.
They're now 8-7, so they become the first team in NFL history to have a 7-game losing streak and a 7-game winning streak in the season.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Miami moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this at length. With my brother, who's a Dolphins fan, and so what I said to him was this was actually the team I was way more surprised during the 7-game losing streak, the beginning of the season. I did not understand that at all. I eventually came to understand that, and it was coaching, and it was their structure and belief in their defense and how they were doing that. That was the main problem. A lot of people made it out about Tua. It wasn't Tua really at all. It was how they were structuring that defense. So anyways, you coming into the season, you knew this was going to be a team led by defense. The other part of the conversation, and that defense is playing well. The other part of the conversation that I had is they stopped, like, you don't know what you have in Tua yet. And you got to stop pretending as a franchise like there's other things that you know are better out there. So stop making Google eyes at other people. And no matter whatever Tua says, I just know, just being a live human being, that take it in terms like relationship, right? Like you say you care about me, you wooed me, you did all these different things to get me here. And in the instant I'm here, you looking at somebody else.
Right.
No. And I'm not supposed to feel some type of way about that. And not only are you looking at somebody, you looking at the relationship terms, you looking at the guy that's got a jail sentence down the road, about to be convicted, got all these different charges against. That's for real? Okay.
Possibly,
all right, then go
possibly.
there.
I mean, that's not set in stone, but possibly, yeah.
No. That's who they're making Google eyes at.
Right. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure there was a little bit of that playing in there, but honestly, none of this is on Tua, to be honest with you. And that is as short-sighted a look at as possible, because the other part of your team wasn't together enough. You have not built out a functional offense yet, that is around your quarterback, and you were playing around with your defense your defensive philosophy half the year. So you weren't a complete team to even be able to evaluate your quarterback on if he can stand in this division with the other quarterbacks that are there. Now, with that being said, now that they have got themselves together defensively, now you can start saying some more definitive things about Tua. And here's what I'll say from what I saw from that team. that defense is raring to go, intensity-wise. The offense can't match them talent-wise, but the offense can absolutely match them intense-wise. My biggest problem with that game was, as bad as I felt as a fan watching it for New Orleans and all the struggles that they were going through and their fourth-string backup quarterback, the opposing team shouldn't have any of those feelings. And so what I worry about with Miami in games against really, really competitive teams is their ability to play complementary football with each other. I have not seen that the entire year, to be honest with you. For all the reasons I previously stated. When they in that game, for example, I would have loved to have seen them go to more of a hurry up offense or a more of a hurried style of offense, because in a game like that, you actually want the opposing quarterback on the field as much as possible, so your defense can just go hunting and get you short fields all over the place. That's a 55-10 game. Everybody gets bonuses, contracts. You eat that team up. And so the defense was there. I'm worried that the offense was there. And the bigger worry is I worry about the coaching staff's ability to coordinate that offense in the correct way, since they're all very, very defensive minded and defensive leaning on that side of the ball. And they're wild with how they construct their defense anyway. So my overarching concern is less on Tua going forward, and that their overall coaching staff's ability to conceive of an offensive identity that melds with what they want to do defensively, which gets them to the optimal points of wins, i.e. what Indianapolis is doing.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think the offense is a ways away. It's just a ways away right now.
They don't have the piece. They
They
don't
the
even
piece.
have all
No,
their pieces.
outside of Waddle, who's a problem.
And he just got there. Waddle's a rookie.
He's a rookie, yes. That's what I'm saying. Outside of him, he's the one piece that they do have that's going to be that's going to has a chance to be a very good player, if not great, if he continues to get better. Outside of that, no, they don't have the pieces. They don't not only have the pieces, like I think Tua. I think Tua is going to be like a lot of young quarterbacks. Most young quarterbacks, he's going to take a couple of years for him to develop. He's not a super uber talented superstar, but I'm not ruling out him possibly being a guy that could be a franchise guy. I'm not ruling that out yet. But I think like to your point, Greer just seems to be Greer it just seems to be like Buddy Ryan-ish. Like he needs a great offensive mind to join that coaching staff. Like he really does. He needs a great offensive mind because you don't have that in the quarterback right now. You don't have you clearly don't have like a Peyton Manning quarterback who can run that show, what have you, in terms of a mind. So it was like an offense within himself. So he needs a great offensive mind. To, like you said, to your point, to complement that defense, because the defense is a legit top 10 defense without question. Legit top 10 defense can match up with just about anybody because they have excellent cornerbacks and they're fast. So they can basically match up with almost anyone. But you can, where I think in a game, I think you can wear them down with a running game because they're not that big. So I think they are susceptible being run against. A power running game could hurt them. Because I'm not if I'm trying to go against that defense, I'm not throwing against them because that's just feeding. The quarterback.
Yeah, it depends. Like Miami has a ton of flaws. Like let's not get this twisted.
No, we know
Found
that.
it on defense, but they're also psychotically aggressive, and they vacillate wildly between we're going to throw a lot of different things at a quarterback and we're just going to stay in what our base is for the entire game, no matter, and not, there's no problem with that if you're making those decisions based off of how poorly the other team is playing and how they're reacting to what you're doing. But Miami doesn't always do that, and they definitely do that during the losing streak. They struggled making adjustments, making defensive adjustments. As a matter of fact, one might call it confounding why they wouldn't make adjustments sometimes. So with that being said, good quarterbacks will eat this team alive, playing that way. And as has been a rude awakening for the entire AFC East, because we have had a sweet schedule this year. The entire AFC East has been able to have different streaks because of the level of competition that we're playing. So I say that to say there aren't a ton of great quarterbacks out there. I give you that. But the ones that are out there, that style of defense is going to be.
We're thinking about we're thinking about especially if they get to the postseason, they're going, they're one of those guys, multiple those guys, with Josh Allen, Mahomes, that type of player. Even Joe Burrow would light that defense up.
Yeah.
But again, 1-7 to 8-7. You gotta give them credit from that standpoint. We see a lot of teams just completely go off the wagon once their season gets to that point. Well, most teams go off the wagon at 1-7. Real or not, receiver records falling. Cooper Kupp is on pace not only to break the yards record, but he's also on pace to break the receptions record. So the receptions record is held by Michael Thomas. The yards record for most yards in the season is held by Megatron, Calvin Johnson, about 6 or 7 years ago, like 1,900 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
So does he get both of them or gets one of them?
Receptions record is absolutely his.
Yeah.
The yardage record, I mean, just by the fact that there's an extra game, you would think he should be able to get that.
He's about 200 yards. He's about 200 yards shy of the yards record.
Yeah, it was 2 games ago, right?
Yeah, 2 games ago. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that would be one game. That would be one game.
Yeah.
So 1 game, 200 yards, hard. 2 games, 200 yards, not as hard. So that is attainable. You would think McVay, that offense, how they conceive things, and knowing this record's there, you would think they would go after both. I would not. I would be surprised if he doesn't get both of those. It wouldn't make sense not to do that. Particularly when you're a franchise where you don't have a lot to hang your hat, a lot of other history to hang your hat on. Those things tend to mean more than us as fans give them credit for. To the team and to the players. I think about when Detroit had Herman Moore and he got him a reception record that year.
Yeah.
So I weirdly remember that 122 receptions. I don't know why. I weirdly remember that. It was probably one of my teams when the fantasy teams won championship.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's gotta be it. I'm like, why do I know that number so clearly in my mind?
Yeah, team. Outside the AFC East.
Without hesitation. Interesting. So all the stuff I don't remember, and I remember that. So yeah. So I can see that happen. It's very rare. This is 1,000% their year. This is 1,000% their year. Now, is Cooper Kupp as talented as Megatron and even Michael Thomas? Probably not. I mean, definitely not Megatron.
No, he's not.
Michael Thomas, but this is
he's right there. He's right there with Michael Thomas, not Megatron.
They've done it from start to finish. You can never ever hate on a tandem that does it consistently throughout the season. This is their year.
Arizona 1 and done in the playoffs.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, we back. I'm back. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let me get this back up. All right, here we go. Arizona 1-and-done in the playoffs.
I mean, I want to see the matchup, of course, before I specifically say this. And if Hopkins isn't there, who would their matchup be?
I'm
Because
looking at.
they're the 2 seed or the 3 seed, third seed.
They're further than that. They remember
Are they?
they're not leading. Yeah, they're not leading the division no more. They are.
Oh, that's right.
They
I
are
keep
like
forgetting about the
5
Rams
seed.
because I had written them off, and now I have to put Arizona where I put the Rams.
Yeah, Arizona. No, right now
They're 5.
They're 5. So they would play Tampa Bay right now.
So that's absolutely they're 1-and-done.
Yeah.
See, that's a yeah. Yes. You know what? Because I'm trying to think. The only team outside, like, I think based off of what I said and what I'm seeing right now, I have to say yes. I'm not even going to qualify it. Yes.
Yeah. All right. They're going to make the playoffs. They're 2 games clear of the Eagles and the 49ers. 49ers and Eagles, who are set 6 and 7. So they're going to make the playoffs.
Those would be the matchups, right? Like they need to get into a position where that's their first round opponent.
Right.
Then I'm like, nah, they're not going to be 1-and-done. They can beat those teams.
But if they had to play against either Tampa, the Rams, Dallas, or even Green Bay, no.
No.
So yeah, I think right now they're looking at a 1-and-done. The Vegas odds have returned the Kansas City Chiefs back as the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah.
Real or not?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. I mean, until Brady's not there, I'm going to always have Tampa Bay as the favorite. But I get why the next favorite has to be Kansas City because they have the most experience. They have the best quarterback.
Best coach out.
They have, just talent all over the place, and they've figured it out on defense. Again, which is probably my most stunning thing this season. I did not see this coming. I did not expect them to be able to fix what was ailing them offensively and defensively.
Not only stabilize the defense, actually turn the defense into like.
No. I did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. I did not. So I get it. And just if I haven't been traumatized by Brady so many years, maybe I would even be able to be able to see it over Brady. But that's the only other team. I mean, we all know how. I mean, like, I've been consistent on how I feel about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like that will be a prove-it situation in the NFC Championship game. Anything before that, he's done it a million times before. And yep, absolutely. And is the expectation for him.
Yes.
So he's done, like, nothing has happened. That what happened with Kansas City, that is very impressive. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, 3 and 4. They were 3 and 4.
That's very impressive. And we're in shambles.
Yes.
Shambles. Yeah. Absolute shambles.
We were questioning.
Offense was in shambles. Defense was in shambles.
Everything.
Crazy.
Everything.
It was crazy. It's crazy. That's why having a professional head coach, a professional organization is so very important. So very important. And I say, yeah, it is our job. It's our job, fans and people on the outside, to freak out at everything. That is what we do. That is what we do. Y'all can't do that. No. Y'all can't do that.
No.
So it's very impressive. It's very impressive. And that tracks with who I know that coach is and what I know that organization to be.
No, you gotta give Andy Reid and Spagnuolo a ton of credit because
Yeah,
that's all there is to it. I had Spagnuolo fired
yeah, you did.
like week 6 or 7. Like you can't finish the season with this guy. And that defense they've been one of the best defenses in the league over the past 8 weeks,
Yep,
easily. Um,
yep.
so that
I guess they do know what they're doing. I guess
yep,
they do.
just a bit, just just a bit,
All that years of experience and things, I guess.
just a bit. Questions for Sap: how many coaches will be fired on Black Monday?
My goodness. Wow. I would have to see a picture of divisions. What the average is 5, so it's definitely gonna be 5. We know that. Because
So
we got 2 going already.
yeah, we got so these are the ones going. So you have Jacksonville and Vegas.
Right, yeah. So we got 2 going already.
They're going to be gone,
So
regardless of
then you
what
can
happens.
add yeah, Chicago to that, right?
Yeah.
3. And then what's the other dumpster fire? Oh,
Houston. I don't think is. You think
no,
Houston?
I don't think Houston, and I think Houston's righted the ship enough. Detroit is the next one.
Possibly.
Campbell's gone.
He's gone.
Oh yeah, Campbell's gone. And if he's not, then Detroit, they just get what they deserve. It's just that simple. He should be gone.
He should be gone.
And then it'll be
What about
interesting to see what's going on
Zimmer?
with Cleveland.
What about Zimmer?
Who?
Minnesota.
Oh,
Zimmer.
Minnesota. It doesn't have to happen, but it would not be shocking at all. He's failed to do what he was brought there to do. So that's a good one. Like I said, I just have my eyes on Cleveland.
Cleveland could do. I can see I can see the quarterback. It's a possibility that if both that they can get rid of both the quarterback and the coach. I could definitely see that.
We got to see. I mean, definitely these last 2 games will be interesting to see. Who else shut somebody? Oh, what the Giants? What's going on with the Giants?
What about the Giants and Jets?
Yeah, the Giants definitely. I feel like homeboys got to go. They shut down the quarterback for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So he's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Judge.
And they're just basically like, we don't want you saying anything more to this young QB. You've done enough here, sir. And then
what about
I don't know if the Jets made a really big deal out of getting Salah. I just don't know if they'll.
Yeah, I know Salah got. I think he'll get another year because I mean, as bad as they've been, they have been somewhat scrappy a little bit last couple of weeks. I think they're going to give him another year to get try to get a quarterback. So yeah, but Judge could be I wouldn't. I could see Judge out. So possibly. Oh, what about the Denver coach?
I was thinking about that. I think that's murky because I don't know what Aaron Rodgers wants.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when you pleading for your job in the middle of the week, which he was.
Yeah,
case for himself.
So. I'll say yes because I do believe they want Aaron Rodgers badly, and Aaron Rodgers is done with Green Bay. So I'll be unclear how that doesn't happen. And so I can't imagine Aaron Rodgers wants to play for anybody else than who he says I'm playing for. So that's kind of how I see the Denver situation playing out. Other than that,
Fangio.
I mean,
Fangio's, that's a coach.
Yeah, Denver's played decently this year.
They have. They actually have. I'm not saying he deserves to get fired, but I still wonder about that situation.
But I was thinking about Denver for that specific reason.
Right.
But it's just murky because I don't know what Aaron Rodgers wants to do.
No.
So I think that's the 5. And then, of course, there'll always be like 2 or 3 that's surprise.
I can see now. Possible surprises. I can see Pete Carroll stepping away. I would not be surprised
Sure,
if he stepped away.
sure, wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I don't think he's getting fired, but just stepping away.
Yeah,
He is 70 years old. I don't think people realize how old Pete Carroll is. Um, Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan. It's interesting if they don't make the playoffs.
yeah, they're not. Shanahan's not going anywhere.
You don't think he's going anywhere?
Not before that 5-year deal is up. Him and the GM, they've had enough success there where there's no reason to push him out the door, and he's ready to make that transition from Garoppolo to the new kid.
Yeah.
And that will tell the tale, but not this year.
So
they're ready to move on from Garoppolo.
Vegas is definite. Jacksonville already happened. Houston,
Giants definite.
Giants
Bears definite.
Bears definite. Yes, that's 4.
And Detroit definite.
That's 5. So 5 definite. Yes. What about Carolina? That'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
That will be an interesting one. That will be. Carolina is a hot mess.
They are.
They don't know what they want to do.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
I could absolutely see a situation where you're like, we're cleaning the house.
Yeah.
New coach, new GM.
Starting over.
You two figure it out because we don't have a clue. We don't got no quarterbacks. We don't got nothing. We don't got no deep. We don't got anything. We got nothing. Cover's bare. Cover's bare. Enjoy.
The most dangerous non-divisional leader in the postseason. Indy.
Yeah.
So even you have them even over, say, San Francisco or Arizona.
I don't think the book is written on Arizona yet, so I'm not ready to go there.
Baltimore is 8.
San Francisco's a tad too gimmicky for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's Indy.
I'm
just thinking about me personally, and my team is the better team. Indy terrifies me. I do not want to play them the first round. I do not.
That's not a first round.
I do not. That's not a fun day at the office.
No.
Because you know they're going to force you to execute because those possessions are going to be so precious. And you know they're going to keep running. And you know eventually he's going to break them. You know those things are coming.
Yeah.
So what you're hoping is that you get the 10-0 lead.
Yes. Yeah, jump on top of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But that means you have to execute immediately.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pressure. It's just they just put so much stress on your team to perform well.
They do.
Because of the style in which they play, which is brilliant. That's how you should do as a coach. Adjust to the personnel you have, not the personnel you want to have, the personnel that's actually there.
Yeah, they're very
what can
well
they
coached.
do well?
They're very well coached as well. Reich is very good. I like Reich.
Yeah, he's very good. They are very lucky they don't have McDaniels.
Okay, oh my goodness. They're
so lucky they don't have McDaniels.
Oh my goodness. He's gonna get another job somewhere.
Oh no, he waiting for that, man. You know, he waiting for Belichick to go.
Belichick, I wouldn't wait that long. Belichick.
No, come on, man. There's no way, Ril. There's no way you turn down a head coaching job in the NFL if that one isn't promised to you and re-sign back with the Patriots. Even after Brady's gone, like, come on now. No, that job was promised to him.
Oh, so you believe
he is next in line.
He's next. Okay. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I mean,
and I'm fine with that. Belichick can retire today if he wants to. I'm so good with that. That would be just the pied resistance to the season if this is Belichick's final year. That'd be glorious.
It's not.
The Patriots, the one of the surprise ones. Yeah. No, that's too much to hope for.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. You already probably gonna win the division. Yeah, probably beat them at home. That's a lot to wish for. It's a lot to hope.
But yeah, Frank Reich is an excellent head coach, and they're lucky to have him.
He is. Of course, the NFL lost a legend yesterday. John Madden passing away at the age of 85. Had been a part of football basically for the past 50 years in some form of capacity, whether it's coaching, broadcasting, and we know what he meant to our childhood as far as the video games and our adulthood as well. Part of our adulthood.
All the above, every part of it.
Every part, yeah. Um, but what are your thoughts on John Madden? Like when you think of John Madden, what do you think of when you think of John Madden?
I mean, there's no one. You don't separate him out. John Madden, he's a legend. It's just that simple. There are very few people in the history of the planet Earth that just when you say their name, you get a definitive thought. John Madden equals football. Period.
Yeah,
In the story, there is nothing else that is there. You can bring up any other head coach, and probably the only one that has that kind of air to it is Vince Lombardi. But to a younger generation, Lombardi means nothing to them.
right.
Madden, immortal, even beyond legend. He's immortal because his name and his legacy will exist so far beyond any of our lifespans. So immortal. He's a football immortal.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, even before, as a kid, when I used to watch the games, and it was like he probably was the first announcer, commentator per se, not play by play man, but color commentator that I actually paid attention to. Um, I like, cause I mean, more times than not, even over my lifespan, I've just basically watched the games. Like I really haven't cared about who was calling the games. I could distinguish who was good and who was not. But even as a kid, I remember like he stood out. Like just that he was different. He was doing stuff that I feel like ESPN anchors tried to do with the whole catchphrases and stuff like that. He was on that long before. Like he was on that basically like in the '80s or whatever. Whenever he started with CBS, I think it was the early '80s. Because he coached for 10 years. He coached for from I think '68 to '78 for 10 years. Had a short coaching career. Um, enormously, obviously enormously successful. But yeah, he was on that. He was on that tip like long before rest in peace, Stuart Scotts or Dan Patrick's, Keith Oldman's, those guys like that. And of course, you got the whole generation that just basically try to copycat that and miserably failed miserably at that. Those guys were, legendary in terms of what they did. Even Chris Berman, like he was doing that type of stuff before in the booth, before it was ever done on television or even with these shows that we see these debate shows and stuff like that. So just ahead of his time, um, especially as a as a color commentator, as a person, as a sports personality. And I want to say I don't think I just think that who he, of course we don't know him personally, but I don't think that he was trying to entertain per se. Like I don't think he was trying to get up there and do broadcast shtick. I just think that this was a guy who loved football, who just had a different way of calling games that hadn't been seen before. So to me, he just like from that standpoint, from a broadcast standpoint alone, uh, he stands out because that's how I followed him. Of course, I wasn't born when he was coaching, and I mean I know we played the video games, but him as a broadcaster, that was the John Madden that I knew the best as the broadcast. That him and Pat Summerall all those years, calling all those big games, especially those late 4 o'clock games in the NFC. A lot of times, when they were on, especially when Fox got the NFC, of course, had the NFC package when they left NFL left CBS in '93, I think it was, or '92, one of those years, something '92 or '93. when Rupert Murdoch bought that football package, bought the AMC football package. But I like that to me just stands out the most. Like he was doing stuff that was just in a broadcast booth that had never been done before. And again, it was not trying to be. He wasn't trying. He was not trying to entertain, even though he was entertaining. It wasn't like he wasn't just trying. Like he wasn't. It didn't seem like he was just trying to be entertaining. Like what were your thoughts when he would call games, even as growing up?
The way that I've heard it, and it makes a lot of sense to me, is Madden was a soundtrack for a generation.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think that perfectly describes it. Yeah, and it's you see it. I mean, it's one thing to be great at one thing, but to be this guy, great coach, great broadcaster, and then having to have one of the best-selling video games of all time. Like that, I mean, that pretty much covers it all. Um, Never flew, always did the man cruiser. Uh, yeah, never flew on a plane. And I think that's they were talking about how that him traveling via bus, how he was able to connect with a lot of people, with how he was able to build up, um, not build up communities, but but really connect with people, with everyday people. Stopping in coffee shops and talking to random fans and stuff and things that of that nature. Maybe you don't have that. You definitely don't have that same connection if you're flying and going basically to the hotel room and probably watching doing. I mean, basically, if you're flying, you go into the hotel room, go to a production meeting, and probably going to bed. But I think that was him doing the Madden cruiser. You're traveling, hitting these little small towns that you otherwise would not go through if you were flying to your destination from week to week and game to game. So definitely a whole legend to say the least. And by the way, there hasn't been a color commentator that has even football has even approached. Like it's not even close. Like there hasn't been anybody that I don't I just don't have there's just this I mean yeah like I'd be I don't think it's good. I think we can safely say that there will be never be another John Madden.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
that's
good there.
basically safe to say.
Yeah,
Had a love affair with Brett Favre. He loved him some Brett Favre. Loved Brett Favre, and again, that turducken, that Thanksgiving Day game was he was synonymous with that, and just that that whole
we're ducking.
the turducken, and just how he would just break down plays on the teleprompter. Like I think he was innovative with that in terms of as a color commentator drawing. Even though if you as a kid you probably didn't even know what the hell what the plays were. We like you just watching this dude just using the teleprompter and just throwing a bunch of stuff on here. But again, when he was doing the game, you knew it was a big time game. You knew it was he and Summerall, without question, the greatest tandem, football tandem ever, and one of the great broadcasting tandems ever. I can make the case that they could probably the greatest broadcast tandem ever, to be perfectly honest with you. Um, Yeah, I mean, there are a handful of broadcasters that Mount Rushmore. You talk about the Vin Scully's, Marv Alberts, those guys like that. Al Michaels is certainly up there. But yeah, he's right. He's right there with any. You want to go back to like Red Barber, not Red Barber. He was in the media, but in terms of broadcasters, Marty Glickman, guys, people of that ilk. Yeah, he's right there. He's right there with any conversation with any of those broadcasters. So one of the goats, and certainly again, like to your point, his legacy will live eons upon eons. You know, the Madden game is still ongoing. Um, and there was, you know, the all man. You know, I remember that. You know, remember even the all man. I remember a time when I would look for more. I would look more forward to the all man team than the all pro team. I mean, you know, when that would come out, like the all pro team was the official one. But I was like, I wouldn't. But as a kid, when I was into, you know, I'm still into it now. But when it was still going on, when he was still active and still coming out with him, I was like, well, I'm like, I wonder who's going to be on the all Madden team. So no question, definitely a whole legend. Week 17, look aheads. Couple big games. Arizona, Dallas. This is at Dallas. What are your early thoughts on this game?
I don't like Arizona's chances. I don't.
Yeah, two teams headed in opposite directions. Dallas is playing uh, they're probably their best football of the year. As you know, it seems like, you know, especially defensively. Um, Arizona heading in a different direction. I think this is going to be a very close game. I do. Arizona has played well. Arizona has had some big victories over the course, and so they had some big wins over the course of the season. So I don't think this is a situation where Arizona will feel like they're done before they step on the field. Um, I do think they're catching Dallas at the wrong time though, because like because with their offense, Arizona's offense, right? They're gonna have to put some points on the board. Like this, they're not beating Dallas 17. I don't think that you can do the Dallas what Kansas City did to Dallas a month ago. Like I don't think right now you can do that to Dallas. I think minimum you have to score anywhere from 24 to 27 points to beat Dallas right now. I don't think you're holding that offense under 20 points. So yeah, Kyler's going to have one of those games. Um, One of those games. Yeah, I like Dallas in this game, but I do expect. I think it'll be close. I do think it'll be close though. I do think because I do think Arizona is battle tested in terms of how many big they played in a number of big games this year with the division they played in. Also, some of the out of conference, you know, playing Green Bay and some of those teams that they play. So I don't think the moment will be too big for Arizona from that standpoint. But you got like Dallas in that matchup. Very intriguing matchup. Kansas City and Cincinnati. This thing could be
Yeah.
this thing could be a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this game.
Yeah. Me too. This is a game I'll be very disappointed if it's not good. I'm very much looking forward to this game. This is the one I'm looking forward to. Because
Yeah,
this is the one in my head I don't know who wins automatically. It doesn't come right to my mind. Um, because I do believe Joe Burrow's that special. So
yeah,
I am very anxious to see what, or excited is probably the better word, to see what a truly fantastic NFL offense can do against that defense, or what that defense can do against a truly fantastic NFL offense. So I need Cincinnati to hold up their part of the bargain on that one. Um, so yeah, this is one I don't automatically have a winner in my head. I know who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Cincinnati. I'm rooting hard for Cincinnati. Um, but I don't know automatically know who wins this game.
yeah. It should be a very close game. I expect this to be a very close game as well. Um, yeah, I'm very interested to see what what Burrow does against that defense. Some of
Yes.
Spagnola throwing some of the looks that they're gonna throw at him. Again, Kansas City, and by the way, I mean Kansas City. I mean both teams obviously want this game. Kansas City wants home field, and Cincinnati is trying to maintain their division lead. So um, we would be surprised if it's not a fourth quarter game 5 minutes, anybody's game. I think it'll be that type of game. I actually don't think it's going to be as high scoring as some may think. I think both these defenses are capable of really, of bothering the two offenses. Um, I could see 20. I could see 20. I could see a 24-21 type game. I could see that type of
I
game.
think that type of game favors Kansas City.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati wants it to be in the 30s. They want to. They want a. I think Cincinnati wants a shootout. If it's like an all-out shootout.
Cincinnati always wants a shootout.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think they want. Yeah, I think that they want. They don't want the more defensive that this game is, definitely will favor Kansas City because Kansas City has shown that they're comfortable in a 17-10, 21-17 type game. They've shown it time after they've shown it the last 5 or 6 weeks that they're comfortable with that type with winning that type of game. You want to call it winning ugly, fine, but you know they have no problem with that. But I think 24-21 that type. I just can't see this game not being a close game. Be very interested to see how it gets from a physical standpoint because I do think Cincinnati has the athletes to physically match up with Kansas City. The speed, athleticism, of course with Burrow. Big game for Burrow. This is a one of these, litmus test games, man, that, to see where he's at as a young quarterback in his development, going up against that defense, going up against, a team that's one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl. So, um, second year, very big game for Burrow. Coming off a great performance. Now, thing about Cincinnati this year, they have not dealt well with prosperity. We've seen
Nope.
Kansas City hammer Baltimore and then, lose to the Jets. So you see them lose, get embarrassed by the Chargers. And
They need to hold up this end of the bargain. They
yeah,
need to hold up the end of the bargain because
yeah,
they've been the ones that have been the more inconsistent.
yes, yeah, yeah. But again, this to me, this is the game. This is the game of the week, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. A couple things before I let you go. You saw Spider-Man, and
I did.
I know that you can easily go on a 3 or 4 hour tangent
I can. I
as a
very much can.
as a nerd, but we're going to ask you, for time's sake, to give some couple of thoughts. Um, I want to say before you go,
Spoiler, non-spoiler.
spoiler, whatever. The movie's made like $400 million, so if nobody, if you haven't seen it, then shame on you. I can't help it. It's been out like It's been out like 2 weeks now. So yeah, spoiler definitely. We can go all in spoilers. Um, so it so I went to see it yesterday. Took my mom.
Uh-huh.
By the way, it was the first time I was in a theater in over 2 years, close to 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was then a different experience.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, I remember this. Not a lot of people there.
Nope.
The theater I was there was it's a small theater anyway, and it's not a lot of people separated. I like how it was. It was a nice post. I shouldn't say post COVID, but it gave comfortable COVID theater. If you want to put it to you that way, from that standpoint. So not one time that I think about, you know, should I be here? It was like
Yeah,
no.
you felt comfortable.
I felt comfortable. I was good for the
Good.
for the first time in, like I said, in 2 years. I felt comfortable going to a theater.
Good.
Um, Went to did our usual thing. That's something that you and Robson put me on about the early show. So went to a 11:50 show, which is probably late for y'all because y'all sometimes we've done 9 a.m., 10 o'clock shows in the past. But went to
Yeah, I
11:50.
like morning shows.
We like yeah. My mom is the same way. My mom
Yeah.
is like the morning,
Yep.
earlier the better.
Yep.
Um, what they pulled off in this movie, what first of all, what they attempted to pull off, and then to attempt to pull off what they pulled off, and to actually execute it is something that I just you it's almost undescribable. Um, I had great expectations going to that movie. And I'm not at this stage in my life. I don't really need anybody telling me what's good and what's not. I can look at a, I can look at 95% of the shit that I go see. I can look at and say this is going to be some shit. This is going to be pretty good. I'm at that stage as a viewer, or I just won't go see it. I'm not big on reading reviews and what have you, but regardless of that, I had heard obviously even from some of our mutual friends I heard great things about the movie, and then the Rotten Tomatoes. So I felt confident going into the movie that it would be a quality film. Felt very confident. It far exceeded even those high expectations of what I thought it was going to be. Like I said, and I don't even like I said spoiler earlier. I don't even have to like say state things to make the point of what they pulled off, what they attempted to pull off versus versus them actually executing it was simply just phenomenal. And it was like the movie kept getting better as it went along. It was novelic in a
Yeah.
way. It really was. It was and by the way, the movie was 2.5 hours long. It did not feel like a 2.5 hour movie
At all.
at all,
And I've
at
seen it
all,
twice.
at all. Yeah, I'm going to see it again. At all. Yeah, it did not feel like the longest part. Let me be honest with you. The longest part of the movie was the waiting the previews. That was the longest part to me. That had nothing to do with the movie, but the previews was the longest. The previews was the part where I was like, let's get to the movie already. But I was ready for it to begin with. But it was what they again I the courage to pull what they pulled off, because you know this as well as I do. If they didn't have to take any risk for that movie to make $1 billion to that movie to be successful. You know that. And you know as well as I do. They didn't have to do like and what they did is just it was just incredible. It's beyond incredible. It's something that I really have never seen it. Never seen anything like that in terms of like what they're gonna do. They're gonna do what, and then are you serious? They're trying to do, huh? I mean, even I can only imagine you. And I'm not a nerd. I'm a big film goer, but I'm not a Marvel nerd or a comic book nerd by any stretch of imagination. But I understand game recognizes game from a standpoint. Quality is quality. It will never that will never. It doesn't matter. Even my mom recognized, was able to like, damn, this is impressive. And it was just again just incredible um, writing, directing, how they did all the action sequences. Um, I thought this dude Tom Holland, the recent Spider-Man. This might be recent. You can call it recency bias, but I frankly think he's the best Spider-Man. To be honest with you, my personal opinion. I frankly think he's the best, and I'm not big on saying the newest is the greatest. You know me as long as in terms of sports and anything. But I think his performance in that, yes, that, and even the last couple of Spider-Mans, even the one that came out 2019. Um, this one he really shined. They gave him a lot. It was a lot of meat on the bone for him to show his chops in a major way. Um, what were your thoughts?
Uh, I'm very happy to hear you say everything that you did, because those are pretty much that's how I would have summed up my thoughts. Like when you first introduced the topic just now, I was like, this is going to be very challenging for me. Because I have all the words for this movie. And so, but you really summed up specifically like the main points. Um, uh, just a really well made movie, first of all. that gets people excited, that gets people coming back for it. When these types of movies, the superhero movies, the big blockbusters movies do their job well, is when I, as somebody who follows all of this stuff, like I've been following the Spider-Man movie news. I don't know. This has been literally after the last one ended. Anyways, so for that entire time, like every little bit piece that comes out, like I know about. So for that, and then somebody who doesn't do that, for us to come out of there with an equal level of enjoyment, meaning they gave me all the little inside baseball things that I need to enjoy that type of movie, and they did it in a way that didn't turn you off and also had you enjoying the movie. So the fact that we can both come out there with the same equal amount of judgment, your mom can enjoy it, somebody else, there's another person I have a litmus test on who knows nothing about any of this stuff, and she can enjoy it. That makes me very happy. That's how you know that the movie is really well done. I echo your thoughts 100%. The movie itself is amazing. It's mind-blowing. I can't believe they pulled off what they pulled off. And that's somebody who followed this every step of the way for the last 3 years. I can't believe they did what they did. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, no, like yo, when it's all unfolding, it's like, huh? It's like, so they're going, what? Huh? It's like it's just to watch it unfold. Like I said, it was like reading, like it's definitely like reading a great book. Like you got all the payoff of, and I've seen,
No, they paid off
everything. You got all the payoff.
everything.
Yeah, you got all the payoff. And I've seen all the Spider-Man movies. And by the way, to be honest with you, I haven't loved all of them. To be honest, perfectly honest with you, I think I think there was a drop off after the first one. Um, that came out. I think the first one came out in 2002. And I think there was a drop off, and I was not high. I definitely didn't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man personally. But with all that being said, everything to your point, everything was paid off. Everything was paid off. And that, like I said, that is almost damn near. It's like the perfect game in baseball. It's almost damn near impossible to pull that
And
off.
then to your point, not to confuse anybody, but the fact that the movie pays off everything is not something that was even an expectation for the movie. That wasn't something anybody was clamoring for or wanting or thinking. The other two Spider-Man franchises were either said and done or canceled. So it was like there wasn't any of that expectation, like, oh, you got to pay off something that happened in Andrew Garfield with Andrew Garfield's character.
Right.
That wasn't an expectation. They did that on their own, and they did it to make it a better movie, and that's what you have to respect about it.
Yeah. 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 No, it's yeah. No, it was like I said. I recommend it to anyone. I don't care if you're for Marvel head or non. I don't even have to tell the Marvel heads because they, like, to your point. You
Yeah,
brought
that's not a thing.
the Marvel heads are gonna see it 10 times.
Nah.
But
We on round 3 at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
But I would recommend it to any non-Marvel head or just a casual moviegoer. If you want to be entertained, if you're into just movies in general, you want to take your mind off what's going on in the world for 2.5 hours. That is 2.5 hours worth your time to kind of just zone out and just go into this world that they created for 2.5 hours. Like, they completely just outdid themselves. And again, it's one thing to meet expectations, but when you start far exceeding the expectations, when you create your own expectation, that's not even, to your point, that nobody was even thinking about, and then exceed
Nope, sure wasn't.
yeah, and then exceed that expectation. that's something to behold. That's art at its highest level. That's why I mean, as somebody who creates content, as somebody who you love, you take in a lot of content, and you're an educator, so you have been in the career of help building things and creating things in your own right. That's when you like, yo, this is the next level shit. Like this is
It
even
is.
as somebody like yourself who's heavy into literature, it's like, yo, it's like into writing, like, yo, hats off to your right, you got it. To the writers, you got it all the way. So definitely recommend Spider-Man, and I think that it just has been a long time since I've seen I mean, not being in the theaters. I guess like I'm trying to think of the last good quality movie I seen in a theater. It's damn sure it wasn't Bad Boys 3. Was the last movie
Yes, I
I
know it
saw.
was not that. Um, yeah, you gotta think pre-pandemic. So most of the
Pre-pandemic.
movies have been pushed
I,
back.
yeah, I have to, yeah, because most of them have been pushed. I think probably the last quality movie I saw was Joker in October of 19.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah.
so Joker, that was a great movie. Great,
Yeah,
more
dope.
so great performance, but excellent movie, great performance. And that's 2 years ago. So you know, yeah, no, this was definitely again the best movie I've seen all year. Best movie I've seen year, even even just removing the theater from standpoint. Prior to by far, well, not by far. Judas and the Black Messiah was a great movie. That was a great movie as well. I can't dismiss that, but this definitely is the best movie I've seen all year long. Prior to Judas and the Black Messiah, that came out like in February. But in theater, yeah, this has been the best. This was just great to. It was great to be back in the theater. It was great to watch. For this to be the first movie coming back, which is a grand slam. Like it cannot, as a moviegoer, it can't get any better than this. Like, you go there and you see a bad movie, you're like, damn, I might as well just stayed and, stayed and watched the HBO Max. But no, it was phenomenal, and definitely you have to see it if you have not seen it. Get into a little hip hop before we head out. So Jay-Z, about 2 weeks ago, comes out and says, no one. This is during they were on that new app, Clubhouse. They were on a Clubhouse app with some music heads talking about Alicia Keys. I think Alicia Keys was on there as well. Alicia Keys and some other famous known hip hop heads and rappers is on there as well, or people in the industry. And basically versus, there's been a fantasizing of getting somebody like a Jay-Z or somebody like a Beyonce or somebody like Mary J in the verses. More than likely, probably will never happen. But people can talk about it. We can talk about it till the cows come home because that's what we
Right.
do. So Jay-Z basically says, and I'm not even paraphrasing. He says,
No.
no one can
Yeah.
stand, no one can
He
stand on
said
that.
what he said.
That's what he said. So,
He said what he said. You heard it.
yep. He says, no one can stand on the stage with me. And then, that set the internet on fire as expected. Um, so they got people talking about who could, challenge him on the stage, and you hear these names, you hear various names come out, and I mean it was the usual. You were going to hear, you were going to hear the Lil Waynes, Kanye's, Drake's, and so what have you. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. That conversation is cool. That
And
didn't,
inaccurate as all hell.
and yeah.
This is exactly what he means in that statement. There's only one person that can stand on that stage with him, and we all know who it is.
Yes, yeah. So
And why would either one of them want to do that?
right,
That's more so the more implicit point in that. Like for someone of Jay-Z stature, and I'll call the other name out, Nas. Somebody of Nas. Nas is the only one who can stand on the stage, Jay-Z.
yes,
And anybody else is saying anything else, go away. I'm not having a conversation with you. So implicit in that statement is why for me to get up on that stage, it would have to benefit me. What could a versus battle possibly? How could that possibly benefit Jay-Z?
Right.
And the only way it could benefit someone like him is if there's somebody of equal stature.
Right.
Meaning, not only all the record sales, songs, however you want to define it, doesn't even matter. Define it however you want to. That has that, but they can also equal him lyrically over a period of time. And then beyond that, then be a direct peer rival. That's the part. That's the part people miss.
Yeah. So no. Let me get. I want to get back to that because let me roll out the Nas part of this. So you have Jay-Z say that, and then a week later, you have Nas drop a surprise album called Magic with Hit Boy.
He been dropping albums a lot.
Yeah, he has been dropping, but
None
you know
of
what?
them been.
I didn't expect. I didn't. There was no build up to this album though. The other albums there was like
No, the other one, the last one, there wasn't like a super build up to it either.
you knew that was,
Nas been doing this for a while. It
but it
would
was
be disrespectful to Nas to make it be like he dropped that album because of a comment Jay-Z
no,
said.
no. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it was a surprise. It was him dropping that album was a surprise.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
I'm saying. No. I'm not saying that he dropped. I'm not saying that he was just indirect. This was
Okay. Yeah, because that would be disrespectful.
so in one of his songs, Meet Joe Black, you have I'm gonna read the lyric off what he says. He says, all right, he says, I'll wear the crown, the city is mine. You can't hold that. I'm not the one to go at. You fuck around, meet Joe Black. Your top three, I'm not number one. How could you post that? I'll wear the crown. The city is mine. You can't hold that. Not so Nas had been like the past two albums, really even the last 3 hours, if you want to go back to like um the Kanye joint, Nasir.
Even
Been
before that.
no,
Not Nas is Nas. This
Nas
your
is
point is Nas is Nas.
yeah, Nas is Nas. But
He don't miss.
I found it curious. I found it curious that this was the first time in a while that I had him. Now again, I don't know if I don't know if these lyrics are meant towards Jay-Z. We can have some fun with that all we want. Whatever. But I just found it curious that he dropped those lyrics in that particular song. Again, basically, and again, and it comes out right after Jay-Z, basically a week after Jay-Z makes the statement. I just found that curious. This was an album, and I'm sure you've listened to the album numerous times as I have.
Yeah.
This was an album that it was kind of like it came off very personal, like not that we needed any reminders of who Nas is, but it came off very personal to me. Even more personal than the previous Two Kings Diseases. Now again, I don't think this album is as good as the Two Kings Diseases. Very good album. I'm not gonna call it a classic, but again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed the album. I'm not trying again. I don't use the word classic. I don't toss that word around by any stretch of imagination. And again, I don't even like it's only nor should I, right? Nor should anybody. It's only 9 songs. So this is kind of like was an appetizer towards King's Disease 3, which is coming out in 2022. Which based on the previous two, I expect to be a classic. That's where Nas is at right now. But what were your thoughts when you heard the album and those some of those songs in particular?
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely wasn't relating any of this to the Jay-Z stuff at all. But the thing that I mean, like I was stunned. And so that I was just stunned on that day. I hadn't heard anything about it, nothing, zero, nobody else. So, anyways, it was a fantastic treat. It was a fantastic treat to have. And I just I like again, like it's like what we're talking about with what we were talking about with Madden. It's just there's certain names, there's certain people that are just immortal. Nas is not. There doesn't need to be anything else said. We're not judging Nas and Jay-Z on regular scales.
No.
Those aren't even themes anymore. Um, like to do another entertainment analogy, it's like when an actor gets to a certain level, there is no auditioning.
No.
You write the role for me. Like that, you're writing the role for that person. When they are creating music now, it's not to sell X amount and have da-da-da and getting this and da-da-da, everything like that. What they're making music for is for, honestly, for our enjoyment, for whatever personal reason, them as artists, and then for the people to enjoy. That's what that album was to me. It was right on time and needed just for me personally, and spoke to what I needed to hear at that time. And that to me is what a good artist does. And that's the level, that's what they're playing with right now. They're playing with upper tier skill set, artistry skills.
Do you think Jay-Z will drop an album in 2022?
Nah,
No.
nah,
No.
nah. I mean, why is the question? And so if they're like Jay-Z and Nas, they're both artists, but their artistry comes from very different places. I mean, that's not speaking out of school. We know that. So many said, been said a billion times, it's obvious in their careers. Jay-Z fits more in that entrepreneur, like, if I'm going to make something, then that something needs to be of value. So that would just be, I just don't know the why behind it.
It'd be no. I would lean towards no.
Yeah, nah.
I would lean towards no. I mean,
He's not gonna drop music just to drop music.
no, no, especially
A whole album. No.
especially a whole album. It's one thing.
Nah.
He'll jump
Yeah,
on.
no, he'll be on
Yeah,
feature here.
he'll do a feature, occasional track, but no,
Yeah.
not a whole album. Yeah, I mean, I think these are two. Obviously, I mean, these are whatever order you want to have them in. These are the two goats of the rap game. I don't think there's any debate or discussion about that.
There isn't any real debate.
There shouldn't be any debate. I know I'm definitely speaking to my younger heads. That's and no, y'all love Drake, but it is what it is. I want to get back to your point about the verses because I think that people kind of are missing the thing with missing your reasoning with why only Nas could be on that stage with Jay-Z and vice versa. Why only Jay-Z could be on that stage with Nas.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
versus, it's not about versus is not about your entire career, but in terms of your just 20 bangers, like what I'm saying, 20 songs, right? Per se. That's the on the surface versus format. Give me your 20 best. With these two artists, it's more than that. They're not just looking at they're not just looking at. They have hundreds of songs. They're not. 20 songs is nothing to them, to these guys. Nothing. Like they can sneeze at 20 songs. So to your point, it's like, okay, I get on this stage and we did this in 2001. We had a whole year, 2 years. We had basically a 2-year battle, produced multiple classic albums, Illmatic and Blueprint. The rest of y'all is like, we've done this for we held down hip hop for basically almost a decade and a half, basically better point of 15 to 20 years of being near or at the top. Like like to your point, what is this to us? What is a versus to us? Versus who? Us versus who? So it's just not. I mean, it's not enticing to either one of them from that standpoint. And I think Jay Z is has every right to be as confident as he is. I do believe when he makes that statement, no one can stand on the stage with me. I believe that he doesn't think that he of course he thinks he's better than Nas. He's supposed to believe that, and vice versa. That's why they are who they are. But I don't even think he believes that Nas would even step on the stage, not out of fear, but out of the same reason why he would never go on.
There you go. And that is the overarching point of all of this. Like, first of all, like, no one's even uttered Nas' name. No one wants Nas up on that stage. They're because there's also, like, outside of just like the hits and the everything and like that, there's also, as we saw, a competitive nature to this. And you put either of those two gentlemen in a space where they want to win, oh, it's a problem. Nobody wants that with Nas. That's why nobody's even uttering Nas. Nobody wants that with Nas. Nobody wants that. And so it's like then if it's not about a competitive situation, right? And then there's, when I think about like in those terms, again, that's why, like, my overarching point is about there's no benefit for either one of them. Point one being the fact that if they got competitive, there's very few people that could beat either of them. Nobody would even try with Nas. I don't even believe anybody would try with Nas. The only reason you would even attempt it with Jay-Z is because you want to make a name for yourself off of his name. Right. And that doesn't benefit Jay-Z at all. And so you can strike that out. Catalog wise, get out of here. That's not even a conversation. Like, no. And then the third one being why the direct peer is such a big thing is because the way in which you construct your list and your play style, as we saw with the Lots versus Dipset, is also very important. And it would be challenging to create a very good play set when you are in two completely different eras of hip hop, right? And so that's why that's a strike right there. You need to be in common eras to get the full flavor of what you're trying to do. So then that versus would then become a celebration. The only way this works is if it's a celebration of the person's career, and then that's not a versus.
No.
So it just doesn't make any sense on any level.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is these two artists are just too good for verses. That's it. I mean, that's just
Jordan, go to Rucker and be in the dunk contest.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly.
Why? Like, yeah, not like, at a certain point, that's not a thing.
No, it's just not. It's just, I mean, it's just not,
Versus was not created for a certain level of star.
Yeah.
It just that's not what it was created for.
Yeah, Denzel, go be on Grey's Anatomy. Really? No. Yeah. I'll direct the episode, which he did. He directed the episode, but I'm starring in it. What? Huh?
Nah, Denzel's not directing no episode.
He did. No, he actually did direct the episode.
When did he do that?
Years ago. This is like 10.
Wow. Okay. Look at me, not knowing.
No, I mean, this is, but there's a difference.
Learn something new every day. No, I didn't know that. That's a new piece of information.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I found out about that because Ellen Pompey actually on a podcast tried to get some likes and comments to her name by saying she allegedly cursed him out on the set because he tried to sell some shit that's the only reason I even knew about it. One of the episodes that he directed about 10 or 11 years ago. But yeah, starring in it, yeah. That's why I heard rumors when Empire was now I ain't gonna say actually good. When Empire was hot.
Yeah.
I wonder if Denzel would make an appearance. Like,
No.
really? No.
Denzel's not.
Denzel's not gonna be part of
No, he's not.
that. You follow Denzel's career. Hey,
That is not a lateral move
no,
at all. Damn, talking about an upward move, that is definitely not that's not even a lateral move.
No.
Why in the world would he do that?
Yeah. No. But yeah, I'm here for this Nas Hit Boy combination is
I like them. I like them together.
I mean, it's added. Yeah, no, it's magic. It's literally like the album title was magic, but it literally is magic. These two were made to make music together. Like it's just a perfect combination of just of styles and what have you. So yeah, when Kings Disease 3 comes out, I'd be right there, right there with it for it. But again, I just found it interesting. Kind of brought back some 2001 memories. With Nas and Jay-Z. I got a little,
I mean, look, Nas is not wrong. And that's why, like, the only person who can step on that stage with Jay-Z is Nas because Nas has the victory over him. So that's the advantage. That's the only advantage for a Jay-Z is to see if he can get the victory, if he can even it up.
Right.
But other than that, there's no one. With that being said, not other than that, with that being said, there is no artist that can be on that stage with Jay-Z. It's only Nas. Nas is the answer. There is no other answer. I don't care who else says anything. I saw a little blurb about Rick Ross. I'm like, get out of here. Go away.
Yeah, I mean, the three names.
Yeah, a bunch of people were saying like, no, Lil Wayne, stop, get out of here.
Yeah, Kanye, Drake,
he's not doing this.
Yeah,
no, and no, just no.
No.
It's not. Those aren't even things.
No. I mean, again, I think we had this conversation when you were talking about Carmelo a couple podcasts ago, about a couple months ago. There are levels to this Hall of Fame thing. There are levels. Like all Hall of Fame,
levels to this.
All Hall of Famers not created equally.
No,
all time great hip hop artists are created equally.
They're not.
They're not. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got two guys that clearly separate themselves from everybody else in the history of hip hop. Point blank. Like I would, if I would go dig into my tennis bag, I would be saying like Nas and Jay-Z are like, Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. In terms of what they
that's analogy.
Yes. So those three guys are clearly, wherever order you want to put them in, whatever. But those are the three that are clearly the best ever at their sport. And there's nobody else even enters the conversation.
Nope.
So that's what it is with Jay-Z and Nas. It's a Nas Jay-Z conversation, and no one else is even allowed to even no one else is even allowed to even utter a word about any GOAT conversation when it comes to those two. When it comes to
you just move on to another versus battle like that. One.
No, there are plenty other verses.
Look, that battle actually did happen.
Yes,
and there
it did. We witnessed that. Yes.
So that's the end of that. That honestly is the end of that.
Yeah, we witnessed that battle. We've seen that battle. And we've seen
move on to another the top verses. I don't think people ask that question or even thinking Nas. I think probably what they're thinking about is more in line with what you're talking about, Drake. And again, it's just like, no. I'm not having that conversation.
No, come on now. You can't. Really?
No, it's ridiculous. So sure, have Drake go battle somebody else.
Yeah,
and y'all
let
be
Drake.
happy.
Let Drake battle Wayne. Like whatever. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Nah, I think they're too far removed.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
they could do it. I think Wayne coming out on
Wayne,
a collab, but I think Drake needs to
Drake,
battle one of his
Drake,
contemporaries.
Drake, Kanye.
Nah, I think they're too far. I like a Kanye Rick Ross battle because they both have like that producer and then like to rhyme. Like I like that for consistency, but I think the battle for Drake is J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah.
Interesting. That would be That would be an interesting one.
I mean, the battle would be Drake Kendrick, but Kendrick should never ever be on the verses ever. So
Why do you
they're
say
like
that?
literally, huh?
Why do you say Kendrick should never? You
It's
think
beneath him.
beneath him
Versus
too?
is beneath him. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's as level. The versus level stops at Drake.
Yeah.
That's where it stops at. That's about the max. And I'm sure Drake thinks it's beneath him, and he's probably right. Honestly, the way that I perceive versus is as career savers,
or
or
for up and coming, like the little baby,
yes, or
the
up and
babies.
come. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But right now, the more, at least when it gets buzzy for me, it's when it's like the careers. I'm taking the Lots and Dipset out of this.
Right.
That was different energy.
Yeah.
That was very squarely New York, and yes, that's
Same.
very
The
squarely
same.
that energy.
Relatively close in the eras.
Yeah, 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 relatively close in the in eras. So I'm taking that out. But other than that, it's been more. It seems to be leaning more towards. Oh, can you believe we're going to hear this artist and this artist who we haven't heard from in a while do a
Right.
verses?
Yeah.
And then the artists themselves, especially the early days, were not taking it as seriously.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think there's a level of stardom that versus then starts to act against you. It's like reality TV, celebrity hosting. Like there's a certain level of celebrity, and then after that, if you're on it and you're above that, that's a problem for your career.
Yeah, I like you again. Their names, there are names you'll never see on there. You will never see Beyonce on there. You
No,
never, you're never gonna see a Mary J. Blige.
no,
You're never gonna see a Mariah Carey.
no,
You're never gonna see a Rihanna. You would
no,
never like that. It's just not
no, no.
those
That's
yeah.
insane.
So
Yeah, no.
it's for the Ashantis of the world.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can
Versus
resurrect
is perfect for Ashanti.
maybe you can resurrect Maya's career.
Yep, sure. I can
But yeah.
do. Oh wait, no, there was that versus. I was gonna say Maya branding. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
they already did.
they actually,
Yeah, they did that one.
it
Yeah,
did, it
see
did, no, it did, yeah,
that is versus level. That is that. Yep,
yeah,
keep it right there.
yeah, no, no, yeah, but no, we don't, we like, yeah, we're not gonna. There's some artists, like you said, it's just not, it just doesn't make sense for, um, again, we've either seen the battle or we've had this debates and discussions throughout the course of our musical lives about which artist was better or a group was better. If God, rest in peace, if they were still alive, you would never see Michael Jackson or Prince battle. You just wouldn't see it. You just wouldn't, because they were both of them would
You don't have to say anything
yeah,
else. No,
no, you just wouldn't see
that
it.
stop.
You just wouldn't see it. But but listen,
There's literally nothing else.
listen, I'm
Michael
not
Jackson.
listen
Stop.
to the folks out here. I'm not shitting on verses at all. I've enjoyed the verses for the most part. I've enjoyed verses for the most part, but there are levels to what a verses should look like. Certain artists are too big for the verses. That's it. That's all there is to it. And Jay-Z and Nas are two of them. So we're gonna wrap it up there. Um, just 2 weeks left in the regular season in the NFL.
Yep.
Both should be, again, hopefully we get as minimum damage as possible in regards to uh, COVID and the protocols and things of that nature. Hopefully teams start getting their players back. I'm sure that's one of the sure that once this new rule kicks in with the guys being able to come back sooner if they're not have showing symptoms, vaccinated or unvaccinated, will will benefit a lot of teams in regards to that. So hopefully we see as many players on the field as possible, many important players on the field, many players on the field as possible as possibly can be. We don't want to see fourth string quarterbacks or third string offensive linemen. Don't want to see that, especially if you're a quarterback. You don't want to see. You don't. I don't think Ian Book wanted to be on the field Sunday. To be honest with you, you asked me. You probably did not.
You can't turn down the opportunity
No,
to
you can't.
start.
Listen, you can't. No, you can't. You're right. You can't. But when you realize that 4 years,
You're fourth string. You have to. You
yeah,
have
you
to.
force it. You gotta take. You gotta take it. Yeah,
You just knew. I mean, yeah. It just
I'm
you.
sure he
It
didn't
just
go. Yeah, I'm sure. But
that was
I'm,
bad. It
I'm
was just
sure.
bad from start to finish. And then they said during the game, like like that Miami had played him in preseason,
Ooh, yeah.
and
They already had the.
somebody was his coach in college. I was like, oh, that's he can't even use the
I would have
advantage
been
of nobody has
surprised.
tape
No,
on me.
nope.
I was like, oh, yeah, it's just everything was against him.
Yeah,
It just wasn't going to be a night.
no, yeah. No, it was.
Any quarterback would struggle with 4 offensive linemen out,
Yes, yes.
right? Like any quarterback would struggle like that. Any team would struggle with their 4th string quarterback. You put those 2 combinations together.
Yeah,
I'm impressed he made it out alive. I'm impressed by that.
He walked out the field.
I just didn't think his family needed to be there to see that. I would have been like, nah, you can skip this game. I'll let you know. Record it, but don't watch it. I'll let you know if you destroy that tape or to keep it. But nah, you definitely don't need to be at the game.
No. But yeah, 2 weeks left in the season. Certain things are starting to clear out a little bit as far as contenders are. I think we're starting to get some separation. You talked about Dallas. I'm of course high on Kansas City. I think Tampa has been playing this season for the playoffs, and I always will. I continue to think that. And none of y'all, by the way, should have been surprised that Antonio Brown was back. I don't know why anybody that was any shocker or you want to call Bruce Arians a hypocrite.
Especially after Godwin went down.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
He has no offensive player. They're literally running out of.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
So Antonio Brown, if he wasn't locked up, was going to be back on the field. Once like that was the only thing that you had to be in jail for him not to be back on the field with his main receivers that they got and skill position players that they got in. Because they need bodies on the offensive in terms of offensive skill position players. But they've been playing for the postseason all along, and they'll be fine. Um, and again, you start to see some separation. I mean, the Rams have you know, kind of stabilized the ship, so to speak, with some wins. So the top teams are starting to push themselves over the top, especially in the NFC, along with Kansas City. Now, once you get past Kansas City in the AFC, is who knows? Like it's a free for all. And I mean, Buffalo, great win for y'all. We'll see. You can see if you can continue to build off that. But it's basically the powers in the NFC this year. The powers in the NFC, and that's where it's seemingly like more than likely that the Super Bowl champion will come out of, or the favorite will come out of. But again, like I said, good luck with trying to predict what's going to happen. But at least we're starting to get some clarity. And it took 16 weeks, and as we go into week 17. So definitely looking forward to it. Mr. Sapp, thanks as always.
All right, sir. I'll be the first to say Happy New Year.
Yep, happy New Year. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Real Podcast. I will see you next time, more than likely with a podcast wrapping up the series Insecure. along with Tiffany Quinn. So be on the lookout for that podcast in the next couple of days. And also next week, of course, we'll be back again with Robert Sapp for a week 17 look back at week 17 and a preview towards the week 18 of NFL action. Have a great rest of your evening. So long.